Chapter 1, A Summoning Gone Wrong. Chapter 1, A Summoning Gone Wrong. The shadows danced under the dim light of Naoko's cramped Tokyo apartment, casting fleeting silhouettes against the walls. It was a typical evening in Shinjuku. Life pulsed vibrantly beyond her thin curtains, thrumming with the energy of city dwellers who flitted from one bright neon world to another. The smell of ramen wafted through the air, tantalizing Naoko's senses as she sat cross-legged on the cold wooden floor, surrounded by a haphazard collection of spellbooks, talismans, and half-empty cups of instant coffee. Her palms restlessly leafed through the yellowed pages of the tome before her, an ancient book she had stumbled upon in a dusty corner of a forgotten bookstore. The thin paper crackled under her touch, as if containing some buried magic she longed to unleash. The illustrations it held, the swirl of cosmic designs, bold incantations scrawled in elegant kanji, promised the secrets of summoning, mighty spells that could draw forth the ethereal. "Just a simple spell," she murmured softly to herself, forcing a determined smile onto her face as she ran her fingers across the glyphs. How hard can it be? The apartment felt stifling, the air thick with both a fervent excitement and a hint of desperation. She had immersed herself in mystic arts, not merely out of curiosity, but from a longing for something greater, a yearning that echoed in her very bones. Since moving to Tokyo after her graduation, life had become a series of monotonous routines: work at the local magazine, late-night ramen, and the solitude of her own thoughts. She craved a spark. She craved adventure. Summoning a goddess sounded just about right. With that thought resolutely anchored in her mind, she grabbed a vibrant blue candle from her chaos of supplies and placed it in the center of a carefully arranged circle of salt. She struck a match, igniting the wick, and watched as the flame flickered to life. Shadows writhed around her, and she felt electricity in the air, an undercurrent of danger that only served to stoke her anticipation. "Great goddess of the forgotten hills," she began, her voice dipping into a rhythmic chant, "hear my plea. Show yourself and be my guide." As she recited the incantation, her heart raced. White-hot determination laced her words, and she imagined the goddess materializing, radiant, wise, and powerful. The air shimmered, ethereal energy swirling around her, pulling at the strands of her unkempt hair. Thunder rumbled in the distance, a wild storm brewing just beyond the glowing city. Something felt amiss. The walls vibrated, and with a sudden rush reminiscent of a supernova collapsing in on itself, a blinding light engulfed the room. Naoko shielded her eyes, her breath caught in her throat. The energy surged, overwhelming her senses. An electric hum echoed, filling every crevice of her mind, shivering down her spine. Then, just as abruptly, the light disappeared, leaving a vacuum where it had once surged. She opened her eyes slowly, her heart pounding loudly in her ears. "Wow!" Her voice broke through the silence, barely above a whisper. Before her stood a woman, tall and ethereal. She radiated an aura of beauty that defied the confines of mankind's mere imagination. Her hair cascaded down her back like a waterfall of golden silk, interspersed with glints of starlight. Dressed in flowing robes that seemed woven from the dawn itself, the newcomer exuded an aura of divinity. Her eyes, a deep sapphire, glinted with a mix of wisdom and mischief. Naoko blinked, bewilderment etching across her features. "It worked?" she stuttered. The woman tilted her head, her lips curving into a bemused smile. "Indeed it worked, but not quite how I would have preferred." Her voice was melodic, like chimes in a distant breeze. "Who are you?" Naoko's heart raced faster. "Are you a goddess?" "Yes, although it's a little complicated," the goddess replied, brushing off her own grandeur as if it were but a layer of dust. She surveyed her surroundings, and her smile faltered slightly. "Is this really a Tokyo apartment, or merely a peek into the depths of poverty?" She waved her hand dismissively at the clutter, a hint of exasperation crossing her divine features. Naoko felt a flare of indignation. "It's cozy," she defended, the weight of the goddess's judgment piercing her self-worth. "It's home." With a sigh, the goddess adjusted herself, and in that moment, she transformed. The glow dimmed slightly, and she seemed less imposing, more human, yet still captivating. "I apologize. I am Ain, goddess of the lost stars and fair celestial wishes. I seem to have miscalculated my travel." Naoko couldn't help but take a step back, her mind racing. You traveled? From the heavens?" From another realm, as it happens, Ain corrected, a playful glint returning to her eyes. And my landing could use some work. Your salt circle, an interesting choice, but not what I would recommend for transportation. Naoko felt her breath quicken, excitement mingling with panic. Does that mean you're stuck here? Ain sighed dramatically, crossing her arms. It seems so. The energy I need to return is out of reach for now, and I find myself... She gestured at the meager furnishings. Inconvenienced. But I didn't mean to do this, Naoko exclaimed, a mixture of disbelief and awe rolling through her veins. I just wanted guidance, not a roommate. I hope you're not allergic to divinity, Aina replied with a smirk, her expression teasing. Besides, in moments of chaos come blessings unforeseen. You might enjoy having me around. I can teach you about the stars, the magic of emotions, and perhaps, her eyes twinkled, how to enjoy life beyond this monotonous apartment. Life beyond this apartment? Naoko shook her head, still grappling with the fact that she had summoned a real goddess. I wanted a spark, not a celestial being as my roommate. What are my friends going to think? Ain's laughter filled the small space like a bell echoing on a winter night. Oh, I can promise you they'll think rather highly of you once they learn of my presence. Imagine the stories, Naoko. You'll be the talk of the town. Amid the chaos, Naoko felt her heart flutter, a fearsome thrill electrifying her veins. The tension that had lingered since she had picked up that dusty book began to unwrap itself. What had she gotten herself into? But beneath the spiraling thoughts of social repercussions, she couldn't ignore the undeniable sparks of intrigue dancing between them. Aine pushed herself upright, the light from the window catching the delicate curve of her cheek. So, what's next for us, Naoko? Shall we embark on an unexpected journey? Reality crashed back over Naoko, warning her of the complexities ahead. You may be a goddess, but I am not prepared for this. She rubbed her temples, a hazy line forming between the brows as practicality wrestled with her dreams. Oh, but darling, that's where the fun begins, Aine declared. Who knows what divine mischief lies ahead? Naoko took a breath, grounding herself as she flashed a hesitant smile. Okay, guide me then. What do we do when a goddess suddenly becomes a part of my life? As Aine leaned in, her laughter wrapping around Naoko like a warm scarf, she realized that beneath the uncertainties, a thrill had ignited, a newfound magic she had longed for, brimming with possibilities. And just like that, a tiny Tokyo apartment had become the epicenter for the wildest adventure of her life, whether she was ready for it or not. Little did Naoko know her life was on the brink of a transformation that would defy all expectations, one that would teach her about love, courage, and the power of wishes. In that single moment, both their worlds shifted, woven into a single tapestry of myth, magic, and a romance that coiled itself like a serpent, waiting to unfold in ways neither had ever imagined. Naoko's mundane existence blurred into the extraordinary, and the city outside continued its relentless pace, unaware of the miraculous chaos about to ensue.